From an obscure Patek Philippe worn by President Trump to the National Security Advisor's Rolex GMT and the FBI Director's Breitling unit watch, the second Trump administration rolled into the White House with an impressive watch game. In this video, we will analyze and discuss the watches worn by U.S. national security figures, because in the White House, a watch is never just a watch. Watches of Espionage is curated by a former CIA case officer with a passion for timepieces. On the WOE YouTube channel, we explore the intersection of watches and the military, intelligence, and national security. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be informed when we release new videos. Let us begin with a friendly reminder that WOE is an apolitical platform. Watches are the lens through which we view history and current events. If seeing a political figure or a watch you don't agree with triggers you, we would recommend taking up a soothing activity like hiking, knitting, or yoga. With that out of the way, let's get started. Before we dive into the watches of senior officials, let's talk about a little-known White House unit watch. We've said it before, but sketchy dudes wear Breitling. And if you're working in the White House, you are by definition sketchy, regardless of party affiliation. During President Trump's first term, White House staff organized an order for several custom Breitling models, each with the presidential seal on the dial as well as custom casebacks with personalized engravings. The Washington, D.C. Breitling Boutique is a few short blocks east of the White House, which may explain this unique collaboration. We've also heard another White House unit watch may be in the works. Stay tuned. During his first term, President Donald Trump wore several notable luxury timepieces, including a Patek Philippe Ellipse, a Vacheron Constantin Historique 1968, and a Rolex Day Date, all of which we covered in our video looking at the watches of U.S. presidents. Surprisingly, since his inauguration in January 2025, Trump has not worn a watch during public appearances, a significant shift from his prior behavior that raises interesting questions. Every aspect of a politician's appearance is curated, and it's reasonable to assess that this is a conscious decision. The other elephant in the room is the collection of Trump-branded watches, including a $100,000 tourbillon, as well as more pedestrian models starting around $500. Despite the brand's highly publicized launch, sightings of Trump watches have been scarce, beyond a gold-toned Victory Ultimate Jewel spotted on the wrist of Dan Scavino, the Deputy White House Chief of Staff. Maybe he won it in a raffle. Vice President J.D. Vance is a former senator from Ohio and a U.S. Marine Corps veteran who was previously best known for his memoir, Hillbilly Elegy, which earned national attention upon its release in 2016. While Vance does not typically wear a watch, he did wear an Apple Watch during the campaign and early in his tenure as VP. The smartwatch on a political figure serves as a sign of youth and tech savviness, in keeping with Vance's background in venture capital. However, as we discussed in a separate video on our channel, smartwatches also present serious counterintelligence risks, especially for someone as high-profile as the vice president. More recently, Vance has ditched the Apple Watch, at least during public appearances. We believe the Secret Service and NSA likely informed him of the counterintelligence risks. When the VP is in the market for a serious timepiece, we have plenty of ideas. Are you buying a watch to mark a graduation, deployment, or the birth of a child? We recommend Bezel, a tech-enabled marketplace that connects serious collectors with trusted sellers. Unlike most platforms, Bezel authenticates every watch in-house. Once sold, each watch is sent to their headquarters, inspected by experts, and must be 100% original. No Franken-watches, no aftermarket parts. If a watch fails, you get an immediate refund, and Bezel helps find a replacement. If it passes, it's overnighted to your door, fully insured. You also get a dedicated client advisor, a real person you can call, text, or email. And with tens of thousands of watches in the marketplace, from Seiko to Omega and Rolex, there's something for everyone. If not, their concierge will track it down. Don't guess when it comes to buying a watch. Use Bezel, a platform built for confidence and peace of mind. Download the Bezel app or visit getbezel.com. Kash Patel was confirmed as the FBI director on 25 February 2025 and is clearly a watch guy with a couple of custom unit watches in his collection. Patel comes to the FBI with experience in numerous three-letter agencies, including acting as the DOJ liaison officer to Joint Special Operations Command, or JSOC. Early in his tenure at the Bureau, Patel wore a 46mm titanium Breitling Cockpit B50 from the batch of custom Breitling unit watches produced for White House staff during President Trump's first term. Breitling has considerable appeal within the NatSec community, having produced numerous customized watches for government agencies and military units. Patel also wears a Bremont S500 unit watch made for a sensitive USG unit which has not been seen outside of a select circle. Along with the Breitling and Bremont, Director Patel wears a Garmin fitness smartwatch, including while testifying at a House Judiciary Committee hearing. What is true for the VP is equally true for the FBI director, and we will continue to argue that anyone in a sensitive position should refrain from wearing a smartwatch that can be easily exploited by bad actors, especially when combined with other forms of collection. Patel isn't the only watch nerd in the J. Edgar Hoover building. His deputy, Dan Bongino, also has an extensive collection, including a Secret Service Breitling, a Rolex Submariner, and a Vacheron Constantin Overseas Tourbillon. President Trump's Secretary of Homeland Security is Kristi Noem, formerly known as the 33rd Governor of South Dakota. Demonstrating the popularity of Rolex in the administration, Noem wore a 41mm Datejust after being sworn into her new role. More recently, in a viral appearance in front of a prison in El Salvador, as well as during a LARPing exercise with U.S. Coast Guard Maritime Security Response Team West, Noem wore a solid gold Rolex Daytona, likely reference 126508. Coming in around $47,000, a solid gold Daytona is a serious timepiece and not something Noem would have purchased by accident. No matter how you slice it, a watch like this is as much about flexing wealth and status as it is about telling the time. A gold Daytona is also a watch we'd hesitate to wear to visit an El Salvadoran prison, Secret Service detail or not, but that's just us. Mike Waltz, who originally joined the administration as the National Security Advisor, now serves as the U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations. Beyond his political career, Waltz has quite the resume, having served in U.S. Army Special Forces, earning a total of 4 Bronze Stars with 2 for valor. During his service, Waltz utilized a straightforward digital tool watch, but more recently, the decorated former SF officer has leaned into a pair of Rolex models, including a modern GMT Master II reference 126710 and an older GMT with an all-black bezel reference 16710. This embodies the old-school adage that all a Special Forces man needs are a star sapphire ring, a Randall knife, and a Rolex. Another Rolex fan in the White House is General John Dan Raisin Caine, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In the White House Situation Room, during the highly publicized B-2 bomber attacks on Iran's nuclear program, Caine wore a Rolex GMT Master II with an all-black bezel, reference 116710. With significant heritage in military circles as well as politics, the old Rolex advertisement stating that men who guide the destinies of the world wear Rolex watches still rings true today, even if it could use a less gender-specific update. Caine is also a former F-16 pilot with 2,800 flight hours and 2 tours to Iraq to his name, so his GMT Master II, a watch closely linked to military aviation, makes a ton of sense. Of note, Caine served as the Associate Director for Military Affairs at CIA from 2021 to 2024. Marco Rubio and President Trump may have gone toe-to-toe during Trump's first run at the White House, with Rubio famously saying,
"If he hadn't inherited $200 million, you know where Donald Trump would be right now? Selling watches in Manhattan."
However, the pair appears to have worked it out, with Rubio now serving as Trump's Secretary of State. Rubio doesn't always wear a watch, but when he does, it's a blue Roman numeral dial Rolex Datejust with a fluted bezel, likely reference 126334. A former Attorney General, Matthew Whitaker, is President Trump's ambassador to the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO. In addition to having played college football at the University of Iowa, Whitaker is at least a little bit of a watch guy and typically wears a two-tone Rolex Submariner, likely reference 126613. A two-tone sub is one of those watches that shows the breadth of the divide between the Submariner's utilitarian diving routes and its current position on the wrist of a high-powered attorney and politician. But we still love to see it. A former television presenter and current deputy assistant to the president and senior director for counterterrorism, Sebastian Gorka was born in London to Hungarian parents and is also something of a watch guy. Gorka wears an Omega Planet Ocean, as well as a more obscure Zinn 857 UTC Testaff. If you're rocking a Zinn, it isn't because you picked it up at Macy's. Further proof that watch guys are everywhere. From President Trump's surprisingly empty wrist to a solid gold Daytona on the DHS chief, the second Trump administration proves once again that the watches worn by prominent U.S. political figures are tools of communication intended to send messages well beyond the time of day. Whether it's a Rolex or a Breitling, a custom Bremont or an obscure Zinn slipping into the mix, the timepieces worn in the White House offer an intriguing glimpse into power, personality, and perception at the highest levels of government. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and hit the bell icon to be informed when we release new videos. For even more, check out our website, watchesofespionage.com, for more content, as well as our collection of watch straps and other purpose-built tools designed for our community. Until next time, happy hunting.